in this country. Mr. Speaker, in health there is massive information. If you start at the individual level when a patient is being looked after, you see those huge files. It is full of information on the individual. That information has to be handled. Mr. Speaker, we even use this information to manage people, and now with e-health, we can actually manage people at long distances, and we need that information. That information must be transmitted from one place to another, not only within the country, but must also be transmitted internationally, because people do move across the world seeking health care. So, Mr. Speaker, even actual management of patients, treating patients, with telemedicine, it is digital now possible to actually manage some cases, even cases of surgery. A lot of information is therefore flowing through the system. And this information is personal information, and it is used for managing patients, and it's used for managing hospitals. Mr. Speaker, beyond that, if you look at health systems, the health systems has massive information, the data that we have concerning the equipment, concerning drugs that you have, concerning supplies. So, Mr. Speaker, this is massive information, and this is what we use to actually monitor how the system is being managed, how our health system is working. Mr. Speaker, if you look at the link between the ministry and the information that comes there in national management, in managing national affairs, in planning, if you look at the health indices that are important, infant mortality, maternal mortality, the under 5 mortality, the access to immunization, access to drugs, these are things that are extremely important in planning. The levels of malnutrition, this is massive information that actually has to be linked to our national data, the Bureau of Statistics, and the Ministry of Planning. So, Mr. Speaker, this is a lot of information that we have. And right now, most of this information is either being managed manually, or if it's being managed digitally, we have little information, little systems all over the place that actually do not talk to each other, and therefore cannot give the information we require. With devolution, Mr. Speaker, this is even worse, because we actually have a huge health information system that now has to talk at national level and also at county level. Now, we are doing it manually, and as I said, if we are doing it digitally, the systems we have are actually not coordinated, not integrated. And therefore, it is important, Mr. Speaker, that now we move and digitize all this. And if this is done, obviously it will improve efficiency. But it also introduces a huge risk, Mr. Speaker. The risk that this information that is flowing digitally can be easily accessed. The issue of hacking this information, so there is not only the danger of hacking individual information, hospital information, national information, county information. You can hack every information when you go digitally. Therefore, it is time that actually we look at that, and that is exactly what this bill is doing, Mr. Speaker. So it's therefore creating an integrated health information system, integrated comprehensive health information system, a system that can actually talk to all institutions across the country, at county level, at national level, at hospital level. So that is actually created in this information. Once you have that information, Mr. Speaker, you need to manage data. If data is managed, it's not managed, particularly at national level, Mr. Speaker, it is a danger, it is a risk, it's actually a security risk. And therefore, this bill, creates a system of this data management. Using it, if you have it, that is actually created here. But Mr. Speaker, as I said earlier, if you do not think about it, then what about particularly at personal level, what about the security of the data? What about individual information that people do not want to actually be everywhere? So this bill actually looks like that, where we have said that information can be treated in such a way that you cannot identify the individuals that the information, the data is relating to. So that actually is in the bill. The confidentiality is assured and the security is assured, and people, we are creating systems that can employ people who are well versed with management of data and data security. Mr. Speaker, I'll actually compare health data nationally to even actually military security. Because even the military, what is it used, Mr. Speaker? To protect us. Protect what? Our lives. So the information about our lives is equally important. And actually, it can be a security problem. So we support this. I support this bill because it actually creates systems that will deal with that. Mr. Speaker, now, if you imagine all the computers, all the equipment in x-rays, all the equipment in labs, if they are digital, when they are not in use, many of them still have the information inside. As Mr. Speaker, I know, you will know, we had a great American called Edgar Hoover, who used to go behind offices and take what was in the dustbins and get information with that. What is our dustbins now is the place we put equipment, digital equipment that actually has been used. So that e-waste, we must find a way of managing it because it will give away the information we have. Mr. Speaker, I had earlier said our people move from this country to other countries. How do we transfer the information? How do we make sure it is safe? How do we ensure confidentiality? Mr. Speaker, this bill provides for that. So, Mr. Speaker, I support this bill. We need it. Whatever health system we'll use, we need it. Even how we use our finances in the health sector is part of the information we have here. So I support, Mr. Speaker.
John Mutunga.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to this bill. Honourable Speaker, I have looked through the bill and I would like to highlight a few issues, Honourable Speaker, as per my findings. Honourable Speaker, the first thing I noticed is that the bill uses the word retrieval and archival, and these two terms are not defined. I would like to cite clause 21 subclause 3, which specifically mentions those two particular ones, and therefore they need to be defined in this particular bill. Honourable Speaker, when you look at the bill itself,